can trigger collapses in that both the collisions and their turbulences have separate triggers, albeit some of them interrelated. However, ladies and gentlemen, the frequent collapse of collisions that we have witnessed at local government level sometimes is deliberate, sometimes even unrelated to the pursuit of the public good, and can be minimized down to a healthy level with little detrimental effect on municipal administrations. Other distressing problems the document identified with our recent collision experience at local government level, and particularly the country's major metropolitan municipalities, include the following: opportunistic behavior, threshold for the admissibility of a motion of no confidence, and the vulgarization and procedurization of the process that are not related to considerations of ethics or competence, the monetization of votes and seats in municipal governance, patronage, rent-seeking, etc., but also power play and relevance, ganging up against incumbents. These are the challenges we need to address. Our document therefore says, amongst others, career politicians without any prospects of employment elsewhere face a constant risk of job insecurity. This is no minor matter. It is closely related to a broader socio-logical characteristic of the South African society, which manifests the continued racial imbalance in the distribution of opportunities, particularly wealth, but poverty, unemployment, and inequality. Fellow delegates, it is also exacerbated by an economy that has not grown sufficiently over the years to absorb greater numbers of job seekers. So together, both factors, the socio-logical characteristics of our society and the stagnant economy, manifested in a stampede towards the political sphere, especially by young people or the youth, who increasingly demand greater representation in politics than the professions in the rise in variance of right-wing and left-wing populism alike. In fairness, populism is not only a South African problem, but a global phenomenon that cannot be understood outside of the context of national and international resource distribution imbalances. Program directors, like any other country, our sociological reality impacts the state of political parties in the country. It reflects the political party's social base and the extent to which, as creatures of agency, every social base exerts itself on the national stage in a dynamic intercourse with others to produce particular outcomes. Consequently, whilst we must be ready and willing to learn from other coalition experiences in other countries, we must also bear in mind from other countries our history of a unique colonialism that is unlike any other, and the enduring legacy of that special colonialism has a direct impact on our politics today and will undoubtedly be the case for a long time to come. We must therefore craft viable partnerships that reflect the South African context in all its nuances, complexities, and also opportunities. A few days ago, I read a book about the destruction of Somalia, written by one of the country's former diplomats, His Excellency Ambassador Mohammed Osman Omar. The thrust of his thesis is that after the collapse of the Siad Barre regime in January 1991, Somalia descended into a civil war and eventually collapsed because the leadership was driven by what he calls power struggle without restraint. Emphasizing the point, he argues that they were inspired, and I quote, by self-aggrandizement, absence of discipline and national spirit. They pursued Somalia's narrow social cleavages based on clan loyalties, never willing to learn, as he said, from our own and from other people's follies, close quote. Ambassador Omar's observation about his country begs several questions. Perhaps the most crucial is what must be done to institutionalize fidelity to the national interest, a challenge that is as Somalians as it is South Africans, more so in view of the alarm bells sounded in the document we have at local government level, which, as we have observed in some instances, it is deliberate and unrelated to the pursuit about themselves and what they can achieve, what they can benefit. So, ladies and gentlemen, we in this dialogue today